Borobudur Temple stands as a testament to human ingenuity and spiritual expression, its ancient stones whispering secrets of a bygone era. This majestic monument, nestled in the heart of Java, is a window into the region's rich cultural heritage. As we unravel the mysteries of Borobudur, the whispers of the past will awaken, beckoning us to embark on a journey through the shadows of time. In the lush valleys and volcanic landscapes of central Java, a region of immense cultural and spiritual significance, the seeds of Borobudur's creation were sown. The 9th century, a time of great transformation and flourishing artistic expression, saw the rise of the Sailendra dynasty, a Buddhist kingdom that would leave an indelible mark on the architectural and cultural heritage of Indonesia. It was during this period, under the reign of King Samaratunga, that the construction of Borobudur Temple is believed to have commenced. The Sailendras, with their capital in the Prambanan Valley, were a powerful and influential force in the region, known for their patronage of Buddhism and the arts. As the kingdom's wealth and influence grew, so too did its spiritual ambitions, culminating in the creation of a monumental temple complex that would surpass all others in scale and grandeur. The chosen site, a natural hill in the Kadu Valley, was deemed sacred, with its unique topography and stunning vistas providing the perfect backdrop for a structure that would harmonize the earthly and celestial realms. As the architects and craftsmen set to work, they drew upon a rich cultural heritage, blending indigenous traditions with Indian and Buddhist influences. The resulting temple complex, with its intricate carvings, imposing stupas, and majestic layout, would become a testament to the ingenuity and artistic expression of the Sailendra people. The construction process itself was a marvel of organization and logistical prowess, requiring the mobilization of thousands of workers, artisans, and engineers who toiled for decades to bring the vision of Borobudur to life. The local population, comprising farmers, traders, and craftsmen, played a crucial role in the temple's creation, providing the labor materials and expertise necessary for its construction. The surrounding landscape, with its fertile soil, abundant water sources, and accessible stone quarries, proved an ideal location for such a massive undertaking. As the temple began to take shape, it became a focal point for the community, a symbol of their spiritual aspirations and artistic expression. The Sailendra kingdom's emphasis on Buddhism and the arts had created a cultural milieu in which the construction of Borobudur was not only feasible but also deeply meaningful. The temple's design, with its ascending levels, intricate carvings, and imposing stupas, reflected the Buddhist cosmology and the quest for enlightenment that underpinned the Sailendra worldview. As the temple rose from the earth, it embodied the kingdom's spiritual ambitions, becoming a beacon of hope, wisdom, and beauty in the heart of Java. The construction of Borobudur was a gradual process, spanning several decades, during which time the temple complex underwent numerous transformations, reflecting the evolving artistic and spiritual visions of its creators. The earliest phases of construction saw the creation of a massive base, upon which the subsequent levels and stupas were built. As the temple grew in scale and complexity, so too did its symbolic significance, becoming a microcosm of the Buddhist universe, with its intricate carvings and sculptures depicting scenes from the Buddha's life, as well as various celestial beings and mythological creatures. The artisans and craftsmen responsible for adorning the temple with these intricate carvings were masters of their craft, possessing a deep understanding of the symbolic language and iconography that underpinned Buddhist art. Their creations, ranging from the delicate and ornate to the bold and imposing, added depth, texture, and meaning to the temple's architecture, transforming Borobudur into a living, breathing entity that seemed to pulse with the rhythms of the natural world. As the artisans continued to adorn the temple with intricate carvings, the symbolic significance of Borobudur deepened, reflecting the evolving artistic and spiritual visions of its creators. The reliefs depicting scenes from the Buddha's life, known as the Lalita Vistara, were crafted with precision and devotion, conveying the teachings of Buddhism in a visual language that was both accessible and profound. The carvings of bodhisattvas, celestial beings, and mythological creatures, such as the Kinnaras and Garudas, added a layer of complexity to the temple's iconography, highlighting the interconnectedness of the Buddhist universe. The construction of Borobudur during this period was also marked by the presence of Indian influences, evident in the temple's architecture and decorative elements. The use of lotus flowers, acanthus leaves, and other motifs, reminiscent of Indian art and architecture, demonstrates the cultural exchange that occurred between the Sailendra kingdom and the Indian subcontinent. This exchange had a profound impact on the development of Borobudur, as it introduced new ideas, techniques, and artistic styles that were incorporated into the temple's design. One of the most striking features of Borobudur is its series of niches, containing over 500 Buddha statues, each one uniquely crafted to convey a specific aspect of the Buddha's teachings. The statues, ranging from the serene and contemplative to the dynamic and expressive, were placed in niches at various levels of the temple, creating a sense of progression and spiritual ascent. As pilgrims and devotees circumambulated the temple, they would encounter these statues, each one serving as a reminder of the Buddha's wisdom and compassion. The temple's design also incorporated a number of staircases, passageways, and corridors, which allowed visitors to navigate the complex and experience its various levels and aspects. The narrow staircases, often flanked by intricate carvings and sculptures, led to the upper levels of the temple, where the air was thick with incense and the sound of chanting could be heard. The passageways, lined with reliefs depicting scenes from Buddhist mythology, created a sense of mystery and anticipation, drawing visitors deeper into the heart of the temple. As Borobudur continued to evolve, it became a major center of Buddhist learning and practice, attracting scholars, monks, and pilgrims from across Southeast Asia. The temple's library, which housed a vast collection of Buddhist scriptures and commentaries, was an important hub of intellectual activity, where scholars could study and translate the sacred texts. The presence of these scholars and monks helped to establish Borobudur as a beacon of Buddhist culture and learning, shining brightly in the heart of Java. The reign of King Samaratunga, who ruled the Sailendra kingdom from 815 to 838 CE, marked a significant period in the development of Borobudur. During his reign, the temple underwent extensive renovations and expansions, including the addition of new stupas, statues, and reliefs. The king's patronage of Buddhism and the arts helped to create a flourishing cultural landscape, in which Borobudur played a central role. As the temple continued to grow in significance, it became an integral part of the Sailendra kingdom's spiritual and cultural identity, reflecting the kingdom's deep devotion to Buddhism and its commitment to artistic expression. The construction of Borobudur during this period was also influenced by the presence of Chinese Buddhist monks who had traveled to Java to study and translate Buddhist scriptures. The exchange between Chinese and Indonesian scholars helped to introduce new ideas and techniques which were incorporated into the temple's design and decoration. The use of Chinese motifs, such as the dragon and the phoenix, in Borobudur's carvings and sculptures, demonstrates the cultural exchange that occurred between China and the Sailendra kingdom. As the influence of Chinese Buddhist monks continued to shape the development of Borobudur, the temple's architecture and decorative elements began to reflect a unique blend of Indian, Chinese, and indigenous Javanese styles. The use of glazed ceramics, for example, which was introduced by Chinese craftsmen, became a distinctive feature of Borobudur's design, with intricate glazework adorning the temple's walls, stairs, and statues. This fusion of artistic traditions is particularly evident in the temple's upper levels, where the niches containing Buddha statues are flanked by delicate carvings of lotus flowers, acanthus leaves, and other motifs that reflect the cultural exchange between Java and the Indian subcontinent. The reign of King Balatung, who succeeded King Samaratunga in 838 CE, marked a significant turning point in the history of Borobudur. During his rule, the temple underwent further renovations and expansions, including the construction of new stupas and the addition of more Buddha statues. The king's patronage of Buddhism and the arts helped to establish Borobudur as a major center of learning and culture, attracting scholars and pilgrims from across Southeast Asia. One of the most notable examples of King Balatung's support for Buddhism is the inscription on the Kellerak stone, which dates back to 832 CE and provides valuable information about the temple's history and the kingdom's administrative structure. The Kellerak inscription, which is now housed at the National Museum in Jakarta, is a remarkable example of Javanese epigraphy with intricate carvings and calligraphy that reflect the advanced artistic skills of the time. The inscription itself provides important details about the administration of the Sailendra kingdom, including the names of high-ranking officials and the organization of the kingdom's territories. It also sheds light on the economic and social structures of the kingdom, including the system of taxation and the role of Buddhism in the kingdom's spiritual and cultural life. As Borobudur continued to grow in significance, it became an important center of pilgrimage for Buddhists from across Southeast Asia. The temple's unique design, with its series of concentric squares and staircases, was intended to facilitate the process of spiritual ascent, allowing pilgrims to progress through the different levels of Buddhist cosmology and ultimately achieve enlightenment. The pilgrims who visited Borobudur during this period would have encountered a vibrant and dynamic community of monks, scholars, and artisans, all of whom were dedicated to the study and practice of Buddhism. One of the most fascinating aspects of Borobudur's history during this period is the role of women in Buddhist society. While the temple's carvings and sculptures often depict female figures as goddesses or celestial beings, there is also evidence to suggest that women played a more active role in the spiritual and cultural life of the kingdom. The presence of female monks and scholars at Borobudur, for example, is attested by several inscriptions and artifacts from the period, including a remarkable bronze statue of a female bodhisattva that is now housed at the museum in Yogyakarta. The bronze statue, which dates back to the 9th century CE, is a stunning example of Javanese metallurgy, with intricate details and textures that reflect the advanced technical skills of the time. The statue itself depicts a female figure with a serene and compassionate expression, surrounded by delicate carvings of lotus flowers and other motifs that reflect the artistic traditions of the Sailendra kingdom. As an artifact, the statue provides valuable insights into the spiritual and cultural practices of the kingdom, including the role of women in Buddhist society and the importance of bodhisattvas as symbols of compassion and wisdom. As the 10th century CE progressed, Borobudur continued to thrive as a major center of Buddhist learning and pilgrimage, with the Sailendra kingdom's patronage ensuring the temple's upkeep and expansion. The reign of King Daksa, who succeeded King Balatung in 915 CE, marked a significant period in Borobudur's history, with the king overseeing extensive renovations and additions to the temple complex. One notable example of this is the construction of the temple's eastern stairway, which features intricate carvings of Buddhist deities and mythological creatures. The influence of Borobudur extended far beyond the Sailendra kingdom, with the temple becoming a hub for Buddhist scholars and monks from across Southeast Asia. The Indian monk Aticha, who visited Borobudur in the 10th century CE, is said to have been deeply impressed by the temple's grandeur and spiritual significance, and his writings on Buddhist philosophy were later to have a profound impact on the development of Tibetan Buddhism. Despite its importance as a center of Buddhist learning, Borobudur was not immune to the political upheavals that characterized the region during this period. In 1006 CE, the Sailendra kingdom was conquered by the Srivijaya Empire, which had risen to power in southern Sumatra. The Srivijaya Empire's ruler, King Sanggrama Vijayatunga Varman, was a devout Buddhist, and his court became a center of learning and culture, with Borobudur continuing to play a significant role in the empire's spiritual and intellectual life. As the 11th century CE progressed, Borobudur began to decline as a major center of pilgrimage, due in part to the rise of Hinduism in the region. The construction of the magnificent Hindu temple complex at Prambanan, which was built during the reign of King Urlanga in the 10th century CE, marked a significant shift in the region's spiritual landscape, with many Buddhists converting to Hinduism or migrating to other areas. By the 14th century CE, Borobudur had been largely abandoned, and the temple complex had fallen into disrepair. The rise of Islam in the region during this period further contributed to the decline of Buddhism, and many of the temple's sculptures and reliefs were damaged or destroyed. The temple's location, which was once a major center of pilgrimage, was eventually forgotten, and Borobudur lay hidden in the jungle for centuries, its grandeur and significance lost to the sands of time. In 1814 CE, the British governor of Java, Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles, stumbled upon Borobudur while on a tour of the island. Raffles was deeply impressed by the temple's grandeur and recognized its historical significance, and he ordered the clearing of the jungle that had grown up around the complex. The rediscovery of Borobudur marked the beginning of a new era in the temple's history, with restoration efforts commencing in the 20th century CE. The Indonesian government, which gained independence from the Netherlands in 1945 CE, undertook a major restoration project at Borobudur, which was led by the architect and conservationist Soekarno. The project, which lasted from 1975 to 1982 CE, involved the dismantling and reassembly of much of the temple complex, with over 1 million stones being removed and replaced. The restoration of Borobudur was recognized by UNESCO in 1991 CE, when the temple was designated a World Heritage Site, acknowledging its cultural and historical significance to humanity. Today, Borobudur is one of Indonesia's most popular tourist destinations, attracting millions of visitors each year. The temple complex has been beautifully restored, with many of its sculptures and reliefs meticulously preserved or reconstructed. As visitors walk along the temple's narrow corridors and climb its steep stairways, they are able to experience the grandeur and spiritual significance of this magnificent monument to Buddhist art and culture. For centuries, its grandeur and spiritual significance have inspired countless generations, bridging cultures and transcending time. The temple's enduring legacy serves as a powerful reminder of the transformative power of art, architecture, and faith to shape our understanding of the world and our place within it. Thank you for joining me throughout this historical journey. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that, to understand the present, we must first understand the past.